and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
You said coffee, so I have to have a sip of coffee. You said it. I love coffee. All right, man, shut up. All right, you can keep playing. Yes, good morning. It is Friday, your favorite day of the week, Friday, January 5th, 2024. Bracing for some really crazy weather here in the United States. The entire lower 48 is due to get some crazy weather this week. I think some of the Southwest has already started to see blizzards and whatnot. We're going to get tornadoes. We're going to get nor'easters. We're going to get, I don't know, any kind of storm that you can imagine we're going to get. I think they've come up with some new like snow tornado type stuff. And I don't know. They're coming up with new storm because I think weathermen got bored is what happened. Anyway, I'm still a little sick, still very sick, but I'm here for you. Yesterday after the show, I went back into my cocoon and basically stayed there until this morning. So I don't really know much about what's going on in the world. Today we have a good show today, I think. Nizma Osman, I hope I'm saying that right, who's a songwriter, producer, entrepreneur, and all that kind of stuff. Is going to talk to us about how to make money in music and how the music business works now. So I should be interested in that, and I hope you will be too. If you're old like me, and actually older than me would be better. I'm thinking I wish I was. I never wanted to be almost 15 years older than I am until last night. And listen, it depends on if Nikki Haley gets her way and becomes president. What do I mean by that? Jesus, I don't even know. Here's what happened. She had a town hall thing with Ron DeSantis last night, and she said that she would pardon Trump even if he's guilty, because it doesn't matter if you're guilty. We can't have 80-year-olds in jail. Now, I'm thinking, if I'm 80 or close to 80, that is carte blanche to do whatever you want. Literally do whatever you want. You can break any law you want. We can't have 80-year-olds sitting in jail. Oh, man, who's on my murder list? Because there's a ton of people I would start off and, hey, I'm going to be 80, man. No jail for me. Also, white collar crime, Bernie Madoff people, those people who just, screw the system. They're all old anyway. Can't put them in jail. She actually said that. We can't have 80-year-olds in jail. And so for me, I would just ask her, does that mean I can do anything? If, let's say I'm 79. By the time it gets to trial anyway, I'm going to be 80. I can't be in jail at 80. You just said so. Astonishing cult like now they would put Biden in jail. No, don't question it for a second. Biden is 80, over 80, and if given a chance, they would put Biden in jail in a second. So it's really bullshit. I'm not suggesting. Let me just pull the reins in here a little bit. I'm not suggesting if you're 79 years old. First of all, Nikki Haley's not going to win anyway. But I'm not suggesting that if you're 79 years old, that you should actually go out and commit these crimes. I'm just being a little ridiculous here about what her statement really means. So if you're 79, keep it in your pants. Don't go out. Don't go out playing with your pecker in public today, thinking, "Oh, I can do whatever I want." I don't know why you would become Jordan Peterson, but whatever. It's just crazy. She also said that, she said last week about the Civil War was inaccurate, but she can't be racist because she had black friends growing up. I don't even. I don't even want to touch that. But she should just shut up. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I keep saying here's the thing. I got to stop saying here's the thing. The Republican Party, she's moving up in the prime. She's only a few points behind Trump right now in the polls for the primaries, and she's their second best. She's the second best they got. You can see why they would think that Trump is the only thing they have. When you have what's the second best, is that stupid? Anyway, so speaking of having black friends growing up, Willie had black friends growing up. No, he didn't. Willie had no black.
No, no, I didn't.
He didn't even see a black person until he was 45.
No, 12. 12.
Right.
Close enough.
All right.
Close enough.
And I will.
That's only.
I will rent out my black friend to Nikki Haley. If she needs a black friend, I have one for rent.
Oh my God.
But good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Mine dog coffee. I don't always drink coffee, but when I do, it puts a song in my heart, a pep in my step, and probably gets me rented out to Nikki Haley. Mine dog coffee.
Speaking of having a song in your heart, when I was in prison, one day Grease was on the television, and you gotta listen to your TV through headphones. You're not allowed to have it like out loud or whatever. But I was singing along with all the songs, and my cellmate was getting kind of bitchy about it. And during one of the commercial breaks, he was like, "Do you really have to sing every song?" And I was like, "What is life if you don't have a song in your heart?" And he was like, "I don't care if it's in your heart, just quit letting it come out your mouth."
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, especially musicals and stuff like that. I'm on the cellmate side. I'm on the cellmate,
especially in prison. Like prison is not the place for musicals, really. I mean, although that'd be a fun musical to make a musical that's about being in prison. Oh my God, that'd be fucking hilarious.
You know what? You might be onto something there. But
guys and dolls,
all guys and guys. Didn't Elvis do something?
Jailhouse Rock, I guess. Yeah.
And Chicago.
Back in the day.
Chicago.
Yeah. Oh. All right. So it's been done. I don't pay attention anyway. Man, I got some fever going on. Give me fever.
Fever.
Yeah, that too.
Sorry.
I think being sick is a good thing. Not when you're going through it. But I think at the end of it, because I think at the end of this, I'm going to be a brand new old man. It definitely has a cleansing, cleaning out.
Sure.
So it's part of it's an important part of life is getting sick and dealing with this stuff. So whatever it is, I'm trying to put a positive spin on feeling like totally like shit and not.
I feel like I get more creative, especially if I have a temperature. like if I have a fever going on, like I might come up with some really radical shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is now. I don't know if you heard what I said. At 48, the lower 48 is all everybody. I can imagine what you're going to get up there in South Dakota, where everybody's going to get some shitty weather.
But even New Mexico, where in Grants was, I think, listed to get like 4 inches, but I bet you they get more like 8.
Yeah, I think Craig was posting some video from Albuquerque yesterday, and I was like, you know what? Because Craig is born and raised in Chicago. Like Craig, what happened to Chicago, Craig? Is he still alive? Because Chicago Craig would just like laugh that off as flurries. I could see New Mexico freaking out about it, but everybody.
Well, I mean, the one thing about a place like New Mexico when they get snow is they don't have the equipment to deal with it. So it's a
Right.
much bigger fucking problem.
Yeah. And you got people that just don't know. People that don't know how.
Yeah,
to
they
drive.
have no clue how to function in it or anything like that. But plus, yeah, like not having road crews, like they might have one fucking street plow in Grants, New Mexico. You know, maybe Albuquerque's got a few more, but probably not. They don't keep those kind of items because they're really not supposed to deal with that shit, you know.
Right. Now the inventing of new storm names. You guys,
Yeah.
Because there's thunder snow now. I forget what there was something
Well,
else.
a snow squall is something that I've seen in the last few years that I'd never heard of before.
Yeah.
Like, which those are fucking really dangerous. A snow squall is fucking terrible.
I thought that was like an Indian woman. I'm sorry. That's what they,
No, not a squaw. Not a
snow squaw.
which I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to. That's not a usable word anymore.
Do we-
But,
Yeah.
You can't say squall or snow.
No.
Yeah. But a snow squall is like basically it's like a hurricane of snow. It sounds like I don't know really.
Yeah.
It's
I'm giving some free advertising to a podcast promoter or whatever this person is. Hello, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer you promotion for your channel, but I'm going to send you a bill for this, by the way. Almighty Comf O, who's on Twitter. Oh, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion for your channel. I'm not buying. Viewers, followers, views. What do you mean? Chatbots. What what's a chatbot? You guys know?
I think that's AI. I think that's an AI.
a box that
thing
you
would-
chatted.
that would write material for you or something.
The
What?
price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best, flexible, and convenient under management panel, chat panel. Everything is in your hands. Turn it on, off, customize. No, I don't want fake bots.
Right.
But now you can send your advertising fee. I will send you an invoice. Just give me the address, and you just got like 30 seconds of free advertising on the show. And I hope nobody buys anything from you.
Speaking of nobody buying anything, if we have the time, I do have a critical joke theory. It's 6 minutes and 42 seconds, though.
You're not going to do it live. You just refuse to do it live.
It's not a matter of refusing to do it live. I look at the consequences of me doing it live, and I don't want to face them.
I bet you it will go over much better live. And people tune out whenever we play videos. I mean, I could see a commercial. People will hang in for a 1-minute commercial, but you see, especially on the radio side, I see people just dropping off the minute we go to anything.
Okay, we don't have to do it.
Cheap.
No, because I didn't start doing it for you. I just did it for me, but I was offering it to you.
Yeah,
so.
I get it, but
Yeah.
it definitely would be better live, no doubt about it. People would be more engaged and listen to it rather than
if I
tune
felt
out.
confident about doing it live, I would do it live. But I'm not confident.
Willie, give him a pep talk.
Okay, we'll do it live. We'll do it live. Okay.
First of
do
all,
it live.
Yeah,
Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know anything about comedy, and I know even less about operating multiple pieces of equipment at one time. It's not like playing guitar and singing. That I can do. I'm not saying well, but I feel comfortable enough doing that live.
I'm gonna pass out. I really am. I just got like.
Are you all right, bro?
It's what it is. You know what?
Drink some Mind Dog
you need
coffee.
like a cold towel.
I am having
Put a cold
Mind Dog
towel on
coffee.
your head.
Try some tea.
Here's. I'm not gonna say here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Everybody didn't say it. Good thing you didn't say it.
I know. Everybody who was at my New Year's gig.
podcast.
I mentioned that everybody at the New Year's gig was over 50 years old.
Yeah.
And Mikey said his doctor, because he runs a healthcare facility, said the main doctor there said flu is everywhere. Everybody's getting it. It's really, really bad.
Yeah.
And I know I got it there. So somebody there had it, and they were all dancing close together. Now, people are going to die because there were some 80-year-olds.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
it's really irresponsible to go out. I canceled my gig for
I agree.
Sunday. You know, I'm not doing the gig Sunday because even though I'm counting on being better by Sunday, I might still be contagious, and I'm not going to go out there and spread
Right.
it around.
Thank you for doing that, by the way, because like, dude, my sister's one of those people that when she's sick, she doesn't stay home. She'll still go out and have contact with people and shit. And I don't agree with that, especially in today's society. Like, if you're fucking sick, stay the fuck home.
Right. Mike Chavola got it there too, and I was telling Mikey last night because they were going to play pickleball last night. I told Mikey to get in because Chavola was picking up Mikey, and I told Mikey to get in his truck with wearing a mask and give him the old cootie bug thing. Stay away. Yeah. The other part of this is my wife has somebody contracted to come to the house today to work on electric stuff. And she said, should I call him and tell him? First, she wanted to know if I should get COVID tested. I was like, what difference does it make if I have COVID or the flu? I'm sure it's the flu because the flu is going around. And it was in the room that I was in. But what difference does it make if it's COVID or the flu? The danger level is pretty much the same right now. I mean, and the contagious level, the pathogen level is pretty much the same. So what difference does it make? I just tell them not to come here because I'm sick and probably contagious. But it doesn't matter what you got. If it's bad enough, just stay away. She didn't do that. She called the guy and he's willing to risk it. So I was like,
I need the commission.
That's stupid. Yeah, you need the money. I get you need the money. You don't want to be out of work. But it's a mistake. Anyway, so our guest is here. I want to play a commercial before we get to meet her because we were talking about GD just mentioned that he doesn't know anything about comedy, but do you know anything about music and the music business? Do you?
Even less.
Even less?
Well, I've had longer to fail at it too.
Well, maybe she'll be of some help to you then if you want to actually do something productive and up your game a little bit. Maybe she has some advice that will help you.
Well, I know what she's going to say. She's going to say the same thing that everybody else told me. Get some talent.
Get some talent.
Get some talent first. And
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that because there are plenty of people without any talent. Listen, Vanilla Ice just killed it at Mar-a-Lago this weekend.
Yeah, but he's white. There's too many. I can't. As a black man, I cannot just jump into the music industry without talent. I'm competing against people like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Sierra, and I didn't even know Sierra existed until yesterday. I find out she not only does she exist, she's been doing this shit since she was like 13 months old. She came out the womb breakdancing and shit. Wow. So I can't. No, I got too much to compete with.
You could there's an opening for Nikki Haley's backup band. If you anyway.
Backup band.
Blackup band, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if I said that the way I'm feeling this morning. Anyway, Mr. Geronimo's here. Would you like to hear from Mr. Geronimo?
Sure.
I should get my cowboy hat. Where's my cowboy hat so I can hang out with Mr. Geronimo?
I have a fedora and a fez. Those are the two hats I have. Or maybe a leprechaun hat.
You should get it.
Leprechauns wear hats?
You should get a cowboy hat.
How'd you get a leprechaun hat? That's what I want to know.
Who's the Rasta guy in the cowboy hat? That's
technically it's not mine. It's my urns. It belongs to my urn. My urn gets dressed up for different holidays. At least it used to.
All right, let's hear
who
from
is
Mr.
in
Geronimo.
the urn.
Eventually, me. It's my urn for me.
It's an empty urn. You keep an empty urn in your house.
Well, if it was full, I wouldn't be on this show because it's my urn.
It's his Uncle Ernie. Anyway.
Hey there, I'm Mr. Geronimo, product manager for Tracy's Dog. What is Tracy's Dog? Well, for $50, we send you a high-quality sex toy right to your door. Yeah, $50. Are our toys any good? No. They're f***ing amazing. Yeehaw! Each toy is made with body-safe silicone. We are constantly evolving and innovating our product line. They are built for one thing, to shake your world with orgasms you ain't never seen before. Do you like spending $100 for your sex toy? 80 of it goes to retail. What about bumping into your family while at the sex toy shop?
Good taste.
Get the pleasure you deserve without broadcasting your secrets. And think of all the money we're going to be saving you.
Orgasms you ain't never seen before. I've never seen an orgasm. You don't see them. You feel them. You don't see them.
Well, if you record them,
I mean,
you
no.
watch them
Sometimes you
later.
see them. Sometimes they look like they're having a seizure, and that's kind of seeing an orgasm, in my opinion. Like,
Well, see, I
Like-
think it's like the wind. You don't see the wind, but you see the repercussions. You see where the wind has been. So
yeah.
you don't see the thing, but you can feel the tap outs when they tap your chest and like the tap out and stuff. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I mean, education is what we're all about here, and we're learning new things. But I have the same shirt as Mr. Geronimo. I have the same hat. I have the same shirt. I don't think I could do the yeehaw quite the way he does.
And you don't have the sleeves that he has.
Well,
What do you mean?
You'd get the right
tats.
yeehaw if you get one of those butt plugs.
For you old people, the tattoos around the arms like that.
I didn't even notice his tattoos. I should. You know, there's a lot I don't notice.
Yeah,
but
it's called the sleeve. You old people don't know about that stuff.
Actually, sleeves are for sale now. They have those fake tattoos.
Yeah, you can get fake tattoo sleeves.
Yes.
That's right. They had I remember that was one of my favorite episodes of The Big Bang Theory when Wolowitz and Raj went out to the goth club and they were wearing fucking fake arm tattoos.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Fucking hilarious shit.
All right, it's time to meet our first guest this morning. You know, I'm notorious for butchering people's names, and I apologize in advance. I'm just gonna blame this on the flu. Nizma Osman, I hope that's right, is a songwriter, producer, vocalist, entrepreneur, feminist, and more. Since 2005, she's been writing, producing songs for herself and other artists, and for sync licensing, which I am really curious about how you get placed in TV shows, movies, and commercials and things like that. Ladies and gentlemen, please open your ears, open your minds, and welcome in Nizma Osman. Nizma, good morning. I hope I said your name right. Did I?
Yeah, I think so. Nisma. Yeah.
Oh, not bad. Good for me. So, people like GD, he just said, he needs some talent. Do you need talent to make it in the music business, to make money?
No, not much. You just need half a brain and the ability to kind of stick to something long enough.
Yeah, that's what he's missing.
You know, that definitely cuts him down. He's only got like 3/8 of a brain.
Oh, well, then
you have that.
Then you're
I
out
have
of luck.
ganglia. I have just a bunch of ganglia where there should be a brain.
So because you know, a lot of people, there's a billion excuses I've made, and people like me have made over the years about why we've never succeeded bigger than our level of success in music. And I think what it comes down to almost always is really excuse making or decisions. Like for me, I am happy being an independent and not being aligned with any record company. I wouldn't have said that when I was young, when there were record companies. I wanted a record deal, but people go out of their way and they base their whole life on getting signed. Now the music industry has changed so much that it's all about stream numbers and all that, but you can't make any money on that. So I think just go out and gig. What is your best advice to somebody who wants to support themselves in music?
Yeah, do sync licensing. That's my best advice. I mean, gigging is great too, but it's more labor intensive.
Yeah, it seems like a puzzle to a lot of people, because what I've noticed is there are lots of people who will shop your music for sync licensing, but they demand upfront fees and all that kind of stuff. What is the best approach to getting started with that?
Those are scammy people that you want to avoid. You don't need to pay to play with sync licensing.
I don't know what sync licensing is. I really don't. Sure.
Okay. I'll give you the 411.
Okay.
All right. So basically, sync licensing is the very simple process of having a song or composition of yours placed on a film or TV show or commercial. So, you know, when you hear a Target commercial and you hear the music underneath, that song has been placed in that Target commercial, and it's that process. So basically why it's called sync licensing is because Target has to procure a license to use that song. And fortunately, they have to pay big bucks to do that. So that's where the musicians come in, and they end up hopefully making some good cheddar on that deal. I mean, that's a Target deal is going to pay more than your average deal, but you get the idea.
Yeah,
So does
Was
that
it
kind
always
of
called sync was it always called sync licensing? Was it called something else when I was growing up and I just didn't realize there was a terminology change?
I mean, I've only heard it referred to as sync licensing or music
Yeah,
licensing.
but you're only 21 years old. I mean, no,
Well,
I'm just
yeah, I
kidding.
mean,
No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, I don't. It's possible, but I mean, things were different,
Matt, you're the
technologically,
old guy. You're the old guy. What was it called back when you were a kid?
well, it was called sync licensing
Oh,
by
okay.
professionals, but the general consumers just called it music placement or getting your song placed in a film or television
Yeah.
show or something like
Yeah,
that.
see, I know the long title. Getting your
Yeah,
stuff placed. Okay,
but
that's the term I
one
know.
of one of the classic examples of that turning into like a pop success is Lisa Loeb with "Stay." She got Ethan Hawke, I believe. Ethan, every time I say Ethan, is it Hawke? Yes, it's Hawke. Plays her song "Stay" in a movie, and it became a #1 hit just out of
Yeah.
that. That's a whole other extension of sync licensing. But
Yeah.
for me, because I'm on a bunch of sites where I license music, but generally the fees are like ridiculously low, like $15 to use my music, and you get royalty free forever. And I'm placing
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, but I mean, I'm not making a living. I could not live off of that ever.
No. And
Uh,
that's like the small fish in a large pond version of sync licensing. And what I do and what I teach people to do is to figure out how to become a medium-sized fish in a smaller pond, aka build relationships with licensing agencies who are the people that submit the music on your behalf. So they curate more selective, smaller libraries of music, and they have relationships more directly with the music supervisors whose job it is to select the music ultimately. So there's, like everything, it's a spectrum. You have your pay to play sites and you're making $15 on the placement. And that's easier because there's no barrier to entry, right? You just need to sign up, give them
right.
your credit card info, and you're in. And that's great, but that means you and a million other people are in too. But then there's the other end of the spectrum, which is what I have found to be more effective, but takes more legwork to be able to kind of build those relationships. And that's actually getting out, building those relationships with licensing agents and agencies, and building your reputation, consistently delivering good music, and ultimately it's a relationship that you have going that's what gets you in the door for those larger placements and those bigger opportunities.
I was going to say it, like anything else in the world, it really is about people leading to people and being able to build relationships. But a lot of creative people, especially in the music business, are really introverted, and
Yeah.
it's hard to become a people person. But it is all about, you have to force yourself to be more of a social butterfly in within industry terms. Uh, what's your advice on getting started to be able to kind of get over that first hump and say, I need to be able to talk to people, and I've never done it before because I got into music to hide behind a guitar.
Right. I think there's a little bit of mindset work that you have to do, just understanding and accepting the fact that if you want to have financial success in music, you're going to have to be willing to learn how to do business, and business is really relationships, and learning how to talk to people. So I would say step one is to just kind of sit with yourself, have a come to Jesus talk with yourself, and just make sure you're able to digest the fact that that's what you're going to have to do if you want to have some financial success. And then the second step is start small. Start with the people in your network, people that you're already semi comfortable with, a friend or a colleague, and just start having those conversations, those networking conversations, so that you start to understand that networking really, it's not it's not a value grab or a transaction. It's a relationship, and it teaches you those kind of how to get money out of the picture when you're building those relationships, even though you both know in the back of your minds it's about that. So
Right.
the balance, and it takes practice, but really I would say it's all about having that mindset pre-established before you even go into any sort of interaction.
Okay,
Do
now
you,
in this one, you mentioned having a come to Jesus moment, but what if you're like a Buddhist or a Hindu? Do you
And
have
come to Hindu.
I do.
okay? Because
Come
I
to
wouldn't.
wait, who's the Hindu god?
Well, you
I
could have
forget.
a Shiva, I guess, come to Shiva moment
Shiva.
or
Yeah,
come
come to
to.
Shiva, come to
Uh,
Buddha.
yeah,
Sure.
okay,
Come
yeah.
to self, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was like only one path. Because I really don't like things like that where there's like only one way to do it. You have to come to Jesus. God
You can
forbid, Allah.
create, yeah, right?
You go to
Create
try to
any
go through
path you want.
Muhammad. Yeah.
I wrote a song 2 nights ago in my fevered state, and I'm just gonna. I'm this little self plug here, and I'm putting out lyrics. It says I was talking to Jesus and talking to Jesus, Buddha, and Allah, and the rest. And I told them there was some confusion about who was the best. And the
Oh,
answer
that's
they
cool.
gave me was simple but hard to understand. They said, just live your life and do the best that you can. So,
Nice.
but
That's
just
good.
yeah,
I told you that fever, it helps that creative side. It
yeah, I
does,
know.
man.
You're absolutely right about that.
And then Muhammad walked in with a bomb strapped to his chest and goes, "No, you're all wrong." Kaboom! No,
Jesus.
Yeah, wrong.
Jesus.
Now this is really turned sidetrack. Do you work with people one-on-one, or you offer courses? How do you counsel people on this stuff?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. I mean, my main thing is that I offer like a 1 year group coaching, but I do have one-on-one clients, and I have just the courses you can do. So whatever works for your situation, financially, time-wise, personality-wise, there's a little bit of everything.
Right. Now Willie would say that what I'm about to say is negative thinking, and I'm just wondering. I want to get your perspective on it. People who are um, independent artists who think I'm just going to bypass the machine and put my stuff on Spotify and hope for the best and think that actually is going to accomplish something. I think you might as well play the lottery, in my opinion. What's your take on that?
I actually think you'd have better luck playing the lottery. And that's because I mean, you said bypass the machine, but the funny thing is Spotify now is the machine, right? So, the streaming system has kind of taken over the music industry as the way for artists to kind of distribute their own music without a record label or without any financial backing or marketing. So, what I would say to that is, yeah, you are entering a huge pool of competition. I mean, just to give you a frame of reference, don't quote me on this exactly, but there's on average, I think 40 to 50,000 new songs uploaded to Spotify per day, right?
Well, I'm gonna quote
So,
you on that now. Now I'm gonna quote it. That's a
yeah,
that number
it's
is official.
yeah,
That is the
sure, write
number.
it down, but so it goes without saying that, the competition is fierce, that the supply is significantly higher than the demand, right? I mean, nobody can listen to that much music.
Right.
So it's about figuring out how to actually maximize that system. But again, artists, they don't think about that in that way, like in a business perspective, in terms of how can I rise above the noise. And to do that, you need a marketing system, you need a marketing budget. And so that's very complicated and hard to attain for most artists,
Right.
especially financially speaking, which is why I tell them, you know, leave the Spotify for later, come and do the sync licensing, because it's a more direct path to seeing those returns. And it's free promotion, because when your song is on, playing on the whatever it is, there's thousands of people listening to it, and you're actually being paid for those people to listen to your music. So if you think about it, it's kind of, it's a no-brainer, right? So
Okay, now if
do they identify you though? Because a lot of the old school was about building your audience and getting loyal fans. When you're in a sync thing, they have to do some research to find out who that was. It's
Yeah.
work
Right.
for the consumer then, right?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you're not going to get everybody who listens to it, but every few people will, Shazam the song and
Yeah.
add it to their playlist. I mean, it's
Shazam.
yeah.
Now,
I
but
totally forgot about that being a thing.
Yeah,
now
right?
for now for what's called sync licensing
Yeah.
Yeah.
is if you're, let's say, not okay, I only do my own material as far as that stuff goes, but what if you're like do cover songs? Does that make a difference? If you like just it's not your music, you're singing someone else's song and you're just trying to get that sync licensing, your own
Yeah.
version of It's a Wonderful World or something.
Totally, yeah. Covers are huge in sync licensing. Actually, a lot of companies prefer to use covers because they're more affordable, because they don't have to pay the original artist the licensing fee, which they have more negotiating power, right? So, you think of a famous song, that person's going to say, no, give me a 100K, as opposed to, you or me, they'll be like, we'll take what we can get, right? So, but there is a different legal process that you have to be aware of. You have to obtain permission, and then you do have to understand that you will only own the master, which means the recorded version, and you will not own any of the publishing. So you'll get less of that sync licensing fee up front. But yes, covers are totally a good thing to do.
Now,
Yeah.
what if I cover one of my originals? Would that be
Well, then that's up to you to give yourself permission.
It's I say this often, but it's his last day on the program, so
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
Uh,
Oh, that's funny though. That's funny.
From the artistic perspective, though, geez, how do I even say it? Beyond, not everything is made for sync license. Like, people create, the creative process is about a spiritual outlet and a need to communicate certain things. And I think for the artist, there are some things that lend themselves for sync licensing and placement and all that kind of stuff. But there are some things, you're right, for yourself, or not for yourself, but because we say I wrote it for myself, but you really want an audience to hear it. Do you talk anything about how people can actually reach an audience with something that is a little more substantial than just um, McDonald's music?
Yep. Yeah. No, it's a great question, and it's something that a lot of people wrestle with when they want to get into sync, is that like division of personalities, because there is an element of manufacturing that you have to do to write music for sync, just because there's some rules that you have to play by. So like you can't use certain details in the music, like you can't mention certain cities and things like that, because it puts it too far into it gets too specific and it can't
Right.
be used, so you have to learn the rules, and I teach people those rules, but it doesn't mean that you don't write music that's real, or that doesn't come from a real place. As a matter of fact, you don't want to get too far away from that place of sincerity, because it comes across in the music, and then it sounds like you're trying to write music for film and TV, which
Right.
is no good, right? So it has to sound authentic, because if you think about it, what's the purpose of the music at all? It's to help the listener understand emotionally what's going on in the scene, right? Or how they should be
True.
feeling emotionally. So
Right.
there has to be that level of emotional authenticity for the listener to connect, right? It can't sound like a jingle,
Right.
it can't sound like you're trying too hard.
But
So
jingles are
it's a
so
balance.
catchy.
They
Now,
are, and jingle writing is a whole different thing. That's sync licensing and jingle writing are two different
Now
worlds.
you had
But
mentioned one of the rules, like you don't want to use like a city, but there are songs that use like 90 cities. You're like
Yeah.
Johnny Cash, I've
yeah,
Been Everywhere, Man, and then Live at a Rock Radio Rolled Me was and they
yeah,
mentioned like 100 bands and stuff like that. So you
sure.
just can't mention a city, but if you mention them all, it works.
No, so I mean that's you're thinking about the exceptions to the rule, right? And Johnny Cash,
I'm just thinking about
somebody would be,
money. I'm just
yeah, somebody would be way
cash.
more likely to to license a Johnny Cash song, even though it says, 90 cities. It's just, you just have to kind of learn, unless you're Johnny Cash and can write whatever you want and still get, paid for your music, you have to be more intentional about it in order to cut through the noise.
So you could be like a bail bondsman company, and because there are some huge ones out there, and you could do like Folsom Prison as your sync song or whatever that's called.
Well, it's kind of like a comedy where you don't you don't want to be really topical unless you're willing to just burn the material. Because if you're doing a joke about what's happening in the news now, 6 months from now, it's not going to be. You can't use that joke anymore, or
Right.
even at 3 weeks from now. As long as you know where the lines are, where and what it's going to cost you to to be that way, topical stuff, and especially in sync writing, you don't want to write something about that is topically about political stuff or any of that kind of stuff that's happening now for placement, because by the time the film comes out or television thing comes out, it's old news already.
Right. It's about giving your song the best possible chance at a placement.
Right.
Just looking at it that way.
You've had music placed on Dancing with the Stars, and I'm really interested in this because dance music, I think that has a shelf life forever. But I would, and I don't have a television, so, and I'm really culturally unhip. I should state that up front. So I don't know what's played, but I would think Dancing with the Stars and those shows that are competition would use very already established dance hits. Do they buy like new dance music, and do you kind of tailor that to specific dances? Like we're doing rumba.
I don't, to be honest, I can't speak for Dancing with the Stars, music strategy. But I would assume that it's probably a mix, and it's probably budget restraints that incentivize them to use non-hit songs.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they're under a huge network. I think it's NBC, right? So it's, I'm sure NBC probably owns a lot of music that they can, give them the rights to, and more affordably or whatever. But yeah, it's a mix.
Now you have a degree in, I'm assuming, like jazz comp or something like that from Berkeley, right?
In music and songwriting, yeah.
Right. Now, is that important? Do you
No.
need? I hate to encourage people not to get an education, but so many people I know who went to music schools out there or film schools invested like tons of money and still paying off student loans in the middle of their life, and really. I think what it does, and I'll let you speak to this, but I think what it does is give you the opportunity to start networking young. So that's the big benefit of it, and that's where it can give you a step up, especially in sync licensing. Is you already know how to kind of press the flesh with other people in the industry. Yes.
Yeah, I would say my music education, I value it. I still use pieces of it today, but I would say you just have to manage your expectations and understand that, like anything, it's you get out what you put in, and there's no magic pill for success, or no magic thing. And yeah, I mean, you can network if you go out and do it, right? I mean, and it's a numbers game too. You bring 5,000 people a year, maybe a handful of them go on to do something really incredible using those connections. So it's, you just have to look at it from a larger perspective.
Well, I'm interested. It's not like I have career expectations at this point, and I think this is important to set realistic expectations. I'm old and retired, and basically, but I'm interested in sync licensing, not just for myself, but for people like who I am trying to help build careers and kind of get financially stable. So I just want to put this out there. It's Nizma Osman.com/call, and you can find out about getting synced and find out all about this stuff. Now, when I was putting this into YouTube, I have a AI tool that helps me with keywords that will let people know what this is all about. And one thing that came up was Blueprint for Success music. and we work with Barry Katz, who does Blueprint for Success in Comedy. Are you in any way affiliated with him or anything like that? Because it was just surprising to me to see that came up like.
No, I've never heard of him.
Interesting. Never heard of Barry Katz. Well, Barry Katz would be a good person because he's probably been involved in 100 television and film projects, all which have been highly successful. Yeah, but he's got a thing called Blueprint for Success, and I would think what you do ties perfectly into a complimentary thing because he's doing it for comedy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah. So with people getting started with you, basically it's a 15-minute consultation call. Is that how?
Yeah, we just talk and see. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not in the business of convincing people to get to do something they don't want to do. I'm just trying to understand if I can help you. If you're in the right headspace, you're in the right place in your life to be able to actually see a return on an investment in something like this. And that's it. Yeah, we just talk, we chat, and I just want to make sure that I can actually help you see results.
I appreciate that because there are so many people. They seem predatory.
Yeah.
Well, predatory.
Yeah.
They come on, and then there's all these advertisements. Launch your music career in 90 days, guaranteed, and all you have to do is sign up for $395 today, and and all these courses that are out there. I think if I come out and say that, to be cautious about that to people, again, people like will say, negative thinking. No, I've been taken enough times in my life and made that mistake that there's get rich quick schemes and in music business. So it's good to hear that it's not that.
No, it's not.
Yeah. And again, you're not trying to convince people, because especially young people, I come in with, I do what I do, and this is what I've always done, and and these are my goals, but they're not willing to change anything. But they want the rewards of somebody who has actually changed something. I had somebody like that on when we were first doing Roku TV channel, a guy who had done the same television show for 20 years and never got any traction with it. And he wanted to put it on my thing. And said, well, how do I get more interested? I said, you got to do what people want. You can't do what you want. You have to do what the consumer wants. And I can't change that. I can't change who I am. Well, then you don't.
Then the natural consequences, you don't see a return, and that's fine. I mean, it depends what you want, right? It's all about what you want out of life. Do you want to do the thing? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, your expectation should match what the effort that you're willing to put in.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. What you're willing to do will often say what you actually want.
Right.
You can say you want something all you want, but if you're not willing to put in the effort or make an adjustment to get that thing, then you don't really want it.
Yeah.
Now, what about the business side? You're helping people with, but do you actually counsel them on the not artistic stuff, but production and
we do everything. We start with music because the music is the product, right? I mean, the business stuff is just, you can read it and learn about it. It's just information, but the music that is the skill, is the commodity that's going to get you the placement. So we hone in on that and figure out, how close you are, if you want to scale it out, for example, how close you are to writing sync worthy music, so to speak, or music that's ready for placement. Right. And we work on that, and we figure out, exactly what your strengths are, how to leverage those, what your weaknesses or what you're lacking, so in a nicer way, and then teach you how to find people who with complementary skills, team up, create, practice, iterate, and then we go on to the submission and the business stuff.
What about training the listener to appreciate? Here's my thing. I think we've become so accustomed to 1-5-6-4 over and over and over again that people just gravitate towards that. And people who are making business decisions, they hear that and they know that's a pop song. But can we educate the listener, those at the buying listener, the person making the decisions, and often in sync licensing deals, to be I don't know, appreciative of something that is a little different, or do you think we're stuck in this cookie cutter 1 5 6 4 over and over again? Every song is the same.
That's a tough question to answer for me, just because I'm not on that side of the decision making. But I do know that there's a wide variety of music that's needed, so it's not all pop music. And if you think about the vast amount of content in terms of TV shows and movies that are being produced, and we're going to see another huge boom now that the writer's strike has ended. Just the diversity in the kind of music that's needed is so wide. And I think that there's a place for every type of music, and there's a person who can appreciate every type of music and know how to take it to the next level.
I hope so, because it's like a joke now. Where I think Ed Sheeran in his court case about plagiarism
Yeah.
said every song is this, and he went through like 200 songs in a couple of minutes there of this, just in one key of
Yep.
playing 1 6 4 5 4.
Oh yeah, those cases are
One
always
time,
just a
6 4.
money grab.
Yeah.
Maybe it could happen. And this is going to sound strange, but like, and I'm going to say by accident. And when I say by accident, I mean like you have an artist who has like I'm just trying to think of. Okay, I'm just going to use Willie as an example. Willie writes a song, and it's not in the standard 1 5 4 5 1 5. That thing. It's like, let's say a minor 2. Something a little bit different, a Mixolydian scale or something. But it catches fire. Okay. And the way the industry works, in my understanding, not that I've ever been successful at it, but because his caught fire, they're going to say, we want another one of those songs like Willie wrote, even though it's not like any fucking thing else that's out there.
Yeah.
He's using chords that aren't even in the scale. Okay.
Yeah.
But we want some more of that stuff. We want some more ragas and Balinese type music in the.
It's going to
the
happen.
song.
Yeah.
Thank you for speaking it into existence.
Yeah,
GD.
so Willie writes it. But then other people start asking for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That happens. And legally you can't copyright chord progressions for that reason, because
Right.
there's only so many of them to go around. But I do think there is, with the amount of music that's being created on a daily basis, similarities are bound to happen, and you just kind of have to build that into the system and the understanding and figure out how to do it fairly.
There's no new notes, and there's no, basically nobody can play anything that is 100% original.
Right.
I have to differ because I was doing a gig. I tuned my guitar already, and I laid it down next to a heater and didn't realize it, and it got out of tune. But it was out of tune in such a way that the chord was beautiful. The problem was it was nothing. I couldn't perform what I was trying to perform with that chord.
Well, some advice for your bandmates in that situation. The way to handle it is say, "I love your use of microtones." It's very
believe me, I do. I love the use of microtones. I mean, I do like microtones. That's not a problem. Hemi, demi, semi notes. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
My thing is that I'm just saying they're out there. You can do it.
Totally, yeah.
Again,
and other cultures use them regularly in music.
Yes, and that's I was going to say, because I grew up listening to other cultures' music, so my ear is a little bit bent toward away from standard 1 4 5 12 notes in a scale thing.
Well, that's great.
Well, yeah, and but good luck getting that kind of stuff placed.
That's why I'm not successful. One of the reasons, other than the fact that I'm not any good and I have no talent, I don't know anything about music or comedy. But other than that,
quarter of a brain doesn't help too much either.
Yeah,
I probably said 3/8.
I said 3/8. He corrected me.
Yeah, it's just ganglia.
I appreciate you being here. I hope people will follow up on this and get some information. There are so many people who need help in the business side of it, and because most people, artists, and if before we say goodbye, if you could just comment on this: the artistic brain versus the business brain, and there are so many people who get into it for artistic reasons who are not necessarily business, left brain, right brain. I don't know what it is, but it's that the brains are separate, and the idea of shame about pitching your art as a business, as a commodity for people. A lot of people have a difficult
Yeah.
being able to absorb the importance of it, but also making that transition to say I'm also a business person. You can't just. There's no nobility in starving artists, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what would you say to
You
people
don't
who
think
are
so?
having a
There's no
tough time?
nobility in that. I think there's plenty.
I don't
No
think
profit. There's
I
no
mean,
ability,
it
but no
doesn't help
profit.
anybody.
Yeah.
But well, here's what I would say to that. I understand what you're saying. Like, I would say think long term, right? Because truly, if you want to be a successful business person, you have to build a person that or you have to build a business that you're running and that's not running you. And so essentially what that means for a musician is understanding that maybe at first, and by at first I mean, the first 5 to 10 years that you're at it, you're going to have to run everything, but understand that you can build it out and that you should be building it out to the point where you can outsource a lot of those operations down the road. And that's kind of the
Right.
long game that I'm playing. Is I don't want to be doing this stuff, forever. I want to be able to have enough cash flow that I can outsource whatever I want to outsource and do whatever I want to do, which is make great music, right? And that's what I
Right.
think most artists want. It's just they have to understand that there's a period of time between those 2 points where you can kind of get back to what you really wanted to do, but you have to build before you can play, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I would say is it's not hopeless. You don't have to do the business stuff forever, the daily grind. Just build it first, and then you can outsource.
I get it. What I like to put out there, and because I've worked with some artists on trying to build their business, and at some point it helps if you could partner with somebody who believes in you to be your business manager, somebody who's not an artist at all. All they are is
Yeah.
a business person, but believes in you. Now that's a pipe dream for a lot of people. It's really difficult to find that person, but
Yeah.
if you can, that's a great way to go. Find somebody who is willing to invest their energy because they believe in you and have good business sense, and like find yourself a CEO.
Right.
One last thing, you run a vacation business on the Jersey Shore.
Oh,
When
yeah.
I was running Long Island Musician Support Network, I played with this idea of buying myself a ranch, basically where people would go, artists, where I can rent out, a artist retreat where you go and actually you get the cabin for a week. It's got a recording studio already built into the little cabin.
Cool.
And, yeah. Do you mix up your businesses at all in any way like that? Like,
No, but that's a great idea. Right
uh,
now, it's just a bunch of rich tourists who come and give me their money to spend a week at my house.
wow.
So,
There's nothing
yeah.
wrong with that either.
No,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. It's great, but
Yeah.
it would be cool to incorporate a little bit more
Yeah,
culturally.
the problem is musicians generally can't afford that. That's what I
Right.
found out. Anyway, but
Yeah.
it was a wonderful little fantasy idea I had of just having little bungalows where people can come and be creative, and not necessarily
Yeah.
just for music, but for writing screenplays or working on film ideas or any of that kind of stuff. Very,
Yeah.
very cool stuff. We appreciate you getting up early and being part of the program.
Yeah,
One more
thanks,
time, the link is in the description. It's just nismaosman.com/call.
Yeah.
They can just go to nismaosman without the /call, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why we have this /call in there. Anyway, thank you for being here and good luck with this. And you will definitely be hearing from me
Thank
sometime in
you.
the near
Thanks
future.
for having me, guys. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye for now. Nisma Osman, folks. Cool stuff there. Did you learn anything, Willie? Are you psyched? Are you unpsyched? Are you going to do a 15-minute
No,
call?
yeah, no, that definitely good information. Believe me, I know there's a plethora of things I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, not even doing wrong. It's just things you might not be aware of. Like I think GD learned what sync licensing was. That's a good thing.
I didn't know I mean, I knew in principle that it was a thing. I'm not like a complete idiot. I just didn't, I just wouldn't. I didn't attach that term to what I knew what was happening.
Yeah. The term isn't
Yeah.
really not important. It's just the idea that you're getting paid to place your music in television, film, whatever, all those kind of things, even
I could
advertising.
see.
Yeah,
I could see
knew that
Lonely Man
existed.
definitely.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You go, Willie.
I'm sorry.
Go.
You. I changed my mind.
I was.
No, go ahead, Willie.
No. Please, please, you.
Stop crying.
You,
be a man
you,
and say what you were
please,
going to
you.
say.
No,
Okay.
you, please.
No, you. No.
It's like the chipmunks. It's like the little gophers on.
I feel
Looney Tunes.
Gratitude for having a fever right now. I am actually
bet you
grateful
do.
for being delirious at this moment.
Yeah, it helps.
No, I think I told the story before about Something About Mary. When in the beginning they didn't have any music for Something About Mary, and my songs, that CD there was being considered as some of the music for their movie, and I knew it wasn't going to make it because I know it's on the CD and some of it's just too personal, and I knew it wasn't going to make the thing.
I don't think personal is a game killer at all, or a deal breaker at all. If it fits the piece of film
message,
they're trying to support, it doesn't. Personal. What Lisa Loeb's "Stay" is a very personal song, but it made the movie.
I'm glad you finished that story for me, Matt. Now I don't have to tell it. So your turn, Willie.
Jesus Christ.
No, because I was going to say.
But I am curious, how did you get them to even consider it? What were your steps in getting them to consider it?
They reached out to me. It's a long story. It was one of the people who worked on the show knew about me and knew about my music, and they said, let's give it a shot. We don't have any music, so let's throw some shit at the wall and see what sticks. This was back in the day when I had friends. Not like now.
Right. No, I could see why you don't have any friends now. But that's a whole other. That's a show for another day.
Yeah.
I wasn't always a reclusive, ill-tempered, ill-mannered, non-talented person.
I'm just doing a fact check on this right now.
I used to be a non-talented person who had friends and connections.
Factcheck.com says bullshit.
I didn't have any friends. Yeah, yeah.
The thing I want to caution people about, once you start going down this road, you will get emails and marketing campaigns from lots of people who will tell you, I can get your music placed in shows and films and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then it's always like a fee up front and all that kind of stuff. And I get them almost daily and have been for over 20 years now. So be careful. There's a lot of scammers out there.
I mean, back in the day, I don't know if you experienced this or not, Matt, but back when I was like a young musician songwriter, I was sending out tapes and stuff to like every company that I could find, every record company I could find. And the ones I'd get back most frequently were like, we really like your music. If you send us $450, we can make a demo for you with, real, that kind of thing.
I get
almost
that.
Always $450 or just,
Yeah, I still get those all the time. And the best rejection I ever got. This is pretty funny. Well, this isn't the best rejection. Actually, Bob Saget was the best rejection I ever got. But when I was young, we were out in LA shopping music, and I got to Geffen Records. I got to meet David Geffen and bring him my tape, and we left. And 2 weeks later, my aunt called and she said, David Geffen called for you. You really need to get in touch with him. And I was so excited. And I didn't know, I was putting it off, telling everybody, I got to call David Geffen back. What am I going to say? I call him back, and I'm expecting, like, if he said it was important that I get back in touch with him, something good's going to happen. And basically it was just a call to say thanks, but no thanks. Oh my God! I get so worked up. That David Geffen wants me to call him. It's really important that I call him, and then the caller say, "Yeah, we decided not to go with you."
Now, the best rejection I had ever had was there was a member of the Ink Spots who was still alive at the time. He was the last surviving member of the Ink Spots, and he was trying to stage quote a comeback in his 60s or something. And so he and I were working on I'd written a song for him. He liked it. He wanted to jazz it up a little bit, and so we were working together with the music and stuff to make it a little bit more jazzy, so he could like kind of do it his way, you know. And so the best rejection I ever got was like the next week he died, and we never finished it. So that was like because at least we were doing something together. You know, I got to work with an Ink Spot before he died, and so that's like kind of good.
Usually ink spots don't go away like that.
I know. You would think you need like a stain remover or something, but this Ink Spot just went just like that.
Just gone.
Just
gone like that.
I'm just looking at the Ink Spots. The only song that I remember from them, I think I would recognize, is Maybe, and that was their hit in 1940. Their first hit was in 1932.
How fucking old are you, GD?
Hey, really?
Like I said, I don't know. I said when I was a young songwriter, and he was in his age. I assumed, I never asked him his age. I knew he was old because he was an Ink Spot, and he was barely getting around.
Came out,
but
and
I may even have I have to go back through. I wanted to go back through my notes, but some of my notes literally are so old. They're like on yellow notepads. But when I touch them, some of the papers literally like disintegrate. And I'm afraid to go through all my old notes to get those things right. Right. Because he may not even have been like an original Ink Spot. He could have been like a replacement Ink Spot.
Yeah, you know? There was, I'm just reading here, there was a whole second rendition of the group that stayed together until 1951. Which is still fucking 100 years ago. But yeah, so somebody might have been calling themselves an original Ink Spot, but you know, to be honest with you, even if they would have to have been ancient even in like 1979, 1980. They'd already have been ancient if they were 20 years old in 1930 when the band started. You know, they're born in 1910.
They were, like I said,
they'd be 114 now.
Yeah. but when I was in my early 20s, 20, between 20 and 20, I'm trying to think how old I was when I met him. I was in my early 20s. And like I said, and when you're a 20-year-old, everybody over 50 is old.
Yeah.
You know, right. So I didn't care. Honestly, I didn't care anything about his age or anything like that. I just wanted to write and make music. That was all I wanted to do. And so I didn't care. He could have told me he was like the lead composer for the Ku Klux Klan Orchestra. And I would have said, really, you like my music?
Yeah. The other thing that I briefly touched on there was the services that, and there's lots of them, like Pond 5 and all these things, where you write music, you can submit it, and people download it, and they pay a fee up front. Listen, nobody's ever going to get rich, and it's really even hard to support yourself on that, but it's an extra revenue stream if you're writing music to be able to put stuff on stuff like Envato or Pond 5 or all these different services that do that, and people will use it. Now, I've heard my music in lots of internet commercials and every once in a while, like broadcast television commercials, but they pay $15 to $20 on, and you set your price.
Right.
You know what? People are you got to figure they're looking for discount cheap music. They're gonna go for the cheapest stuff. So it encourages you to keep your prices low. But you can sell it to many different people. So many, you know, there's money to be made there. But again, you're not gonna make a living, or you're not gonna be able to support yourself off of that. But it is an extra revenue stream, and I think if you're in show business at any level, the more revenue streams you have, the better. So that's something to consider. Let's do another commercial, and I'll be right back. How about that? How about that? I want to take the short one, not the long one.
Welcome to a better way to
I
buy
almost played the
wine.
wrong one. and that would be
NakedWines.com is a customer-funded wine business. We don't just sell wines, we make them happen. Since launching in the UK in 2008, Angels have helped us invest in over 159 independent winemakers in 14 different countries. Turns out, it's better business for everyone. Our winemakers get to sell all of their wines and make a living. We make the same margins as everyone else and have a lot of fun along the way. And as a wine drinker, for the $40 a month you probably would have spent on wine anyway, you'll get wholesale prices. You can be sure that all of our wines have been lovingly made by a talented winemaker and stripped of all the costs that add nothing to the flavor or quality of the juice in the bottle. Support independent winemakers. Get better wine in return. With the support of 300,000 wine drinkers, we fund talented independent winemakers up front. This way, they get to spend all of their attention on making you the best wine possible. World-class wine, direct from talented independent winemakers. A better deal, up to 60% off market prices. A better way to discover tasty new favorites with over 2 million reviews from wine drinkers like you. Become an Angel today. Get started by visiting minddogtv.com and click the banner on the homepage now.
I'm sorry. Kelly says, damn it, Chrissy could have saw it live, the sexy one. It's not the sexy one, it's the retarded one. The only reason you find it sexy is because you're in love with Willie. But any normal person would not find that sexy at all. It's just stupid. I don't know why.
I disagree.
Well, of course you disagree. It's just ridiculous.
Hilarious, bro. It's really funny.
Painfully ridiculous. Oh, well, you want to say it's really funny? That's different. What she's saying. She's saying it's the sexy one. It's not. I mean, if you can get a boner at that, you've got a real problem. You need some saltpeter. If that thing gets you horny, you need some saltpeter. You need to calm down just a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, you guys got any plans for this weekend? Anything coming up? Anything? By the way, I still haven't heard about. I know Willie was all excited about this whole billboard. It's not a billboard; it's a digital billboard, and we're not going to be in Times Square.
It's going to rotate and whatever.
Right, and it's going to be in a rotation with several other things, but so it won't be like you're just seeing us. But I haven't heard about that yet. I got to follow up on it. I didn't do anything business wise yesterday. It's just fucking laying in bed, feeling sorry for myself, crying, moaning, bitching, and all that stuff.
Did you get the audios I sent you? Did you get?
I haven't listened to them yet because I didn't get to a computer till this morning, and it doesn't work on the phone. AMRs, I don't even know what that is. Or how'd you record that? Like through the phone?
On my phone? Yeah, but I used my good mic. The new
but maybe it's I don't know, voicemail. It's a different kind of file than my phone recognizes. Apple iPhone doesn't recognize it.
Yeah, it's weird because what I did is I just went to our messages. I recorded it right in our messages, but I was just kind of giving you an idea what the copy was. Like that's not the final. I'll record it again, but I just want to make sure that those are okay with you because usually you want to email to you, correct?
Yeah, does saltpeter work on girls? Yes, it absolutely does. Now, I don't know.
What are you talking about? What's saltpeter? What is that?
Saltpeter is a thing they used to give to GIs to control their sexual impulses when they went into the military. They used to slip it in their food. Basically, it
fuck?
Inhibits your sex drive. Yeah, I'm gonna
I
start
probably need
choking
some
you.
of that. Holy cow. My poor wife, she's getting sick of me asking all the time.
I don't know if it's even. I don't know if it's even still a thing. Like how that'll be now. If I Google it, Google is going to think I got a problem, right? Right? And Google,
Yeah. It's gonna change your feed for a couple days.
yeah. Let's see here though. Is saltpeter even a thing? Potassium nitrate, West African cuisine. What is saltpeter used for? And is it true it reduces certain carnal urges? Well, the second part of that is easy to answer. Saltpeter, the term refers to either potassium, sodium nitrate, has no effect on carnal urges. That's what it says. So basically, this one article I came up with says, no, it's not true. It's an old wives' tale that it doesn't reduce your sex drive.
So, Christine, were you awake when this message came in? By the way,
I sent it to him earlier in the day. I saw you responded to him late at night, where he said,
yeah, because
please type it because
and,
you're whatever."
Yeah.
I would be
and over,
careful.
so it's like midnight. It's after midnight, your guys' time, and he sent a message to both of us at the same time, and I was like, "Well, and I just sent him a link to her Facebook.
Right.
I was
I
like,
had sent
"Here's
him
her
that link
Facebook
earlier in the
profile."
day because he
Yeah,
messaged me at like 2:00 in the afternoon about the same thing. Just be careful now, Chrissy. You got a stalker in Jackie, and he probably wants to send you books and stuff, and send you lots of free
Yeah,
stuff.
no, you'll get a great care package. Jackie sends a great care package.
He
It's
loves to go
awesome.
to the post office and mail people stuff. That's one thing.
So did Ed Kaczynski. Was
Yeah.
that? Oh, no.
Oh my god! Oh
Yeah.
my god! What the?
He has
fuck?
a lot in common with Ted.
Ted, sorry, yeah.
He's a remote area, and he is a bit of a mathematical genius. I don't know if you know this about Jackie, but he's
I did not know that.
very gifted in the area of math. He went on full scholarship for mechanical engineering to a major university. That's
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you don't get a full ride on that kind of stuff if your math skills aren't great, which is why he has such a phenomenal memory for jokes. It's like it's a mathematical thing for him. It's all
Right.
it's
Well,
all
yeah, it's like we talked about. A lot of the jokes are like the same joke, but you just change the you pop in your, what do you call it? God, I can't think of the word right now.
I wish I could help you, but I don't know anything about comedy, so I can't tell you.
Well, no, we're talking about math. We're talking about variables. Variables. You just change the variables.
Right.
Yeah. Like the joke structure and setup is all the same, but the variables are different.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I'm gonna segue here a little bit now. Cat Williams. You familiar with Cat Williams?
I am. I saw a little. I saw like one clip of what was going on yesterday, but I guess he did some interview talking about how like Hollywood is basically all corrupt or whatever, which we already knew. We've known this.
Is that the small diminutive? Is that the diminutive black comedian with the straight hair that did this bit about Tink Tink?
Not small. No, I don't know about that.
No, Cat Williams is tiny. Cat Williams is a small dude.
He is.
So, okay, so we're talking about this. Okay, I just want to make sure
it's hard to tell in video because I've only seen him in video.
Yeah, no, he's a little dude.
Yeah, when you see him hold the microphone, you see him hold the microphone. It almost like he has these two hands to hold the microphone. He's small.
Yeah,
it keeps falling out of his hand. He's
dude. My favorite thing with Cat Williams as far as movies go is Friday. Next Friday, I think it is. I think it's next Friday. Where him and Terry Crews have a scene because like Terry Crews plays this like former inmate, and he's at this house party that Ice Cube is having, and then Cat Williams shows up, and Terry Crews tries to like rape him in the bathroom, and then Cat Williams grabs him he grabs a pipe wrench that's like attached to the toilet, or not a pipe wrench, but like a vice grip or whatever, and he fucking vice grips Terry Crews nuts, and he's like, "I am a boy. You are not in prison anymore." And like, that's just the best shit ever, bro. That's some of the fucking
he
died during that segment.
He looks at me like the lead singer from Outkast.
I mean, I guess a little bit, like in the face. I could see how you could say that a little bit in their facial structure.
But apparently he burned a lot of people.
Yeah, no, he's upsetting people for sure.
So there's like a video on Twitter. It's got a bunch of comedians getting ready to pay Cat Williams a visit, and there's all these guys like pulling out rifles and stuff. Everybody going. I apparently said bad shit about Steve Harvey and Kevin Hart and a whole bunch of people. But what got my attention was
Kevin Hart a plant. He said Kevin Hart was a plant.
Right, a bot. He called him a bot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing that got my attention was he was this. Oh yeah. There's a thing with him and Wayans. What Damon Wayans? And you can see how small he is compared to him. Holy shit! Yeah, he is small.
Yeah. Well, Damon Wayans is pretty tall though too.
But he was talking about Rogan. He said Joe Rogan don't want me on his podcast. He just wants 8. He has 8 comedians that ain't never been funny in their lives, and he just wants to keep pushing them, which is true. And Rogan responded to him saying that he would love to have him on the show. They talk about him all the time. That would be interesting now that he kind of put that
Yeah,
out.
no kidding. I would definitely tune into that episode if Cat Williams gets on Joe Rogan, because there's gonna be some fireworks in that shit.
Yeah, so
one thing, Joe, like you could say whatever you want, but Joe's gonna fire back. He's gonna make you back up the shit you say, and if you don't back it up, he's gonna tell you you're full of shit.
Yeah.
But does Joe Rogan back up everything he says? I mean,
no, which is the funny part. That's what's funny about it.
Okay,
it's like he'll sit there and
it will be entertaining. Yeah, they'll probably it might get heated. Now Rogan says he loves them and all that stuff, but it definitely might get heated.
I mean, there's gonna be enough weed smoking in there to calm things down, I'm sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe just saying outrageous stuff is the way to get attention these days. I don't. It isn't.
Believe me, I'm finding out.
Yeah.
It is and it isn't.
Yeah, and the Tom Segura stuff is still getting me. Like somebody called me Mr. Potato Head this morning on the Tom Segura clip. He said it looks like somebody dried their washcloth on Mr. Potato Head.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm seeing a lot more people defending Tom Segura now, but they're doing it based on 30 seconds of stuff. Now here's the one thing. My takeaway from this is one guy commented back on. I said maybe you want to see the full clip and get the context of this, and he said I spend all my day. I waste too much time already on reels and other stuff. I don't have time to go watch a 10-minute clip. I said, but you have plenty of time to comment on something based on 30 seconds of it. So people aren't interested in seeing the full context. They just want to fucking comment and get
right.
You can't. That to me is a weak excuse. I don't have time to know what I'm talking about. I just want to talk about what I want to talk about. That's the world we live in now.
Yeah, it is. It totally is.
It's sad. Is Steve Harvey legit? There's videos. What does that mean? The Steve Harvey. What did he say about Steve Harvey that is legit?
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing. I do plan on watching it, but I hadn't watched it yet.
I have no idea. I didn't even know.
I got it up, but I can't listen to it here unless I put it on here. Now, there was such an important statement. I didn't think people understand liars or narrative. You want to listen to it? It looks like it's only 18 seconds, but I think he's talking about Steve Harvey here. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let's do 18 seconds, then we can do like the next 20 minutes talking about it.
Right, and we can do exactly what I just said that other guy was doing.
Yeah.
Seeing a
Yeah.
very small
Yeah,
clip
let's
and
do
getting ready.
that.
No, I'm just curious what he said about Steve Harvey.
Then,
I don't. What is because I know
yeah, because I
GD,
love Steve Harvey.
you don't
man.
like Steve Harvey, right? You've said that a couple of times that you don't like
GD,
Steve
you
Harvey.
don't like Steve Harvey? How come?
It's nothing personal, but it's personal.
What is that?
He just seems
What the
too
fuck's that even
manufactured.
mean? Quit talking in riddles, goddammit.
No, okay. You know how sometimes in the music industry you get like these bands that are made up, bands that are put together by like industry people.
Yeah.
And say, okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
manufacture a band. To me, that's what he
Right.
feels like. As a comedian, he feels like one of those.
Like a petty individual for picking apart lies. But Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like
What?
it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves. I hate to say.
So he's just saying Steve Harvey's a liar. What is that one? Let's see.
Gas $4 a gallon. Can't even pump gas like you used to no more. $4 a gallon? You remember when you used to go to pump and put the nozzle in there and hit it? Be sitting there talking, be on your phone. Hey, what's happening? Be walking around, cleaning the windshield. Speaking to hey girl, what's happening? What you doing? Hey, you. Hey, dog, hey, you go in there, bring me a wine cooler. Bring me a cooler, dog. Not no more. Ain't nothing going on at that pump except you and that pump. Your ass is looking at that pump.
Oh, it's jokes that stuff here.
That's all I'm saying. You are not supposed to be at the gas station making life decisions. You just at the pump. Just, Negro, did I eat today? I can't get no half a tank. I got 6 cigarettes. I can't even do it. They done messed up the whole gas station experience. Used to be, if you had $10, $15, you could go to the gas station with confidence.
So yeah, it's about joke theft, and
Okay.
I'm not.
So, but you know what? I don't see that as joke theft because that's two different like
takes on
even
one
though
premise.
it's kind of the same viewpoint or whatever. Like, yeah, you know, like they're making it their own in their own ways. Like a situation like that, like a comedian can't come along and say, "Oh, like I'm gonna joke about how much the change in gas prices are, and now nobody else can joke about gas prices or they're stealing from me." That's fucking horse shit. You cannot fucking claim a whole premise like that.
Right.
That's not joke stealing, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe that was a bad example. I have to see more, but I'd be surprised if Steve Harvey is like left consciously.
And you don't have to, bro. Like, believe me, dude. One of the things I love about Steve Harvey the most is how quippy that motherfucker is. You know what I mean? Like he is like when something funny happens or whatever, he is right on it with a comment or a zinger or whatever. You know what I mean? Or even just his facial expressions. You know, like Steve Harvey is not the kind of talent that has to steal from other people. But Cat Williams also needs to understand that just because you do a certain joke premise, that don't lock down that whole premise for fucking everybody. You know what I mean? That's fucking stupid.
Now, just to push back on the thing about the Steve Harvey thing, and this is not just because he's not one of my favorite comedians. It's just an actual fact that you can be quippy and good at that kind of stuff, the quick comeback, and not be good at writing a joke or telling a long story without lifting it. True. I'm not saying he did it. I'm just saying that the two are not exclusive. You can be really good at one thing and really bad at something else.
It is different. It is a difference. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but one of the things that comes to mind is I think it's D.L. Hughley. He did one of his things was talking about about black families, and he says you don't throw a dead battery away. We didn't throw dead batteries away until you stuck them in the freezer 3 or 4 times. that was something that, yeah, that is exactly what happened in my family. You know, we didn't throw dead batteries away. We put them in the freezer, and again, my family did it. His family did it. So yeah, we could both tell the same story. Now, if I did it just like him, when I said, you don't throw a battery away until you put it in the freezer 3 or 4 times,
right?
Then I'm stealing. But if I tell that story and then do my own take on it, you know, because it happened to us. You know, I know there was a comedian who did a story, a local comedian who did a bit about Family Feud, and so and she had one perspective about it, and my family after about 2 or 3 months after that, my family auditioned to be on Family Feud, and so I did a bit about Family Feud, but based on that experience. But the one thing that we both talked about is how on Family Feud they tell you, you know, how when people say good answer, you know, she had one take on that, but my take was I've seen behind the curtains as to why they do that. And so I had the good answer thing, but mine was from a totally different perspective. But before I did it, I sent her a message and let her know. I said, I'm aware of your bit. This is my bit. I'm going to do the good answer thing, but I'm not stealing it from you. It's just that I cannot do the bit without covering that particular aspect of Family Feud because everybody knows that about Family Feud.
I don't know what I don't even know what you're talking about. The good answer stuff. I mean,
yeah. So like whenever they are up there doing their answers or whatever, like the whole rest of the family will be like, oh, good answer.
No matter how dumb,
no matter how stupid,
Right.
no matter how stupid the fucking guess is, they always say that.
And what is the
and I'm
reason
sure it's a
behind
production.
Yeah, it's a production thing. They tell you to do that. They tell you no matter how bad the answer is, that you still say good answer. You clap your hands and say good answer, no matter how bad the answer is, no matter how dumb it is, no matter how stupid it is, you say that. And part of it is like, because no matter what happens up here, they're still your family. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's been plenty of times I've been watching the show and been like, that is not a good answer at all.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Now, of course, my bit is in my first DVD. If you want to watch my first show, guys, not you guys there. I'm talking about you people out there, audience people, not YouTube. Just go to my website, sogdfunny.com. I have like 3 comedy specials there, and this is on the first one. You know, my parents meant well.
All right, you should put that in the banner so we could share the link to people so that they can see it. You know how to do that, right? Go over the banners and just put that in there.
I thought that was for Bruce. I was leaving it alone. I was waiting for Fenderson.
Huh?
Bruce Banner, Doc Bruce Banner, melted by gamma rays, turns into the Hulk.
Cat Williams has more to say. I think we should listen to this one. Race is not a line. Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side or the other side. I want to hear this. This is 48. This was with Shannon Sharp. With the no volume.
Would you talk about another black? They canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
Shannon Sharp is like,
amen.
I thought he was like, I don't know what to say to that dude. I'm just sitting here listening and don't really have a response. Anyway, what do you? Any take on that? GD is basically saying he gets attacked for saying negative stuff about other guys just because he's black and they're black.
I was looking to it through the lens of, it sounds to me like overzealous born-again Christian who's now totally intolerant of the fact that people are liars. And almost like he's like, I will never lie. I don't lie, you know, and nobody else should ever lie. I don't know. I don't.
Kelly's saying it was started about Harvey Weinstein, but that wasn't about Harvey Weinstein. That was about being critical of other black guys.
Well, yeah,
And
but I mean, he went on for quite a while. Like that, I'm pretty sure that whole interview is pretty fucking crazy.
I know. I wonder where I can see I'll find out where I can see the whole thing today when I'm
Yeah, I
back
mean, I'm pretty
having
sure
my
it's
delirium.
Shannon Sharp's podcast, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Shannon.
He seemed like really outspoken. I didn't
Yeah.
know he was.
Yeah, GD. Shannon, do me a favor. Send the link to Matt.
Yeah.
No, not that Matt. The other Matt.
Fucking what?
The one I called you about last night and complained. Yeah, that one. Send him the link. Thanks, man. Love you, bro.
Obviously, if Shannon, if he's friends with
bro,
GD,
yeah, I was
he's
gonna
not
say,
really
if you know Shannon Sharp and you haven't gotten him on the show yet, you're definitely fired.
Right. And
you know how many people I've pushed and I don't know if they just don't want to be on the show because I'm on it. I'm willing to think that if I took like a week vacation, everybody I know who I sent this to would be like, Matt, I want to be on this week because GD's not going to be there.
Yeah, and definitely if we could get another black guy, that would definitely jeopardize your job security without a doubt.
I don't even send it to black people.
No,
no.
He's not really that sharp. Shannon Dull.
I don't even send it to dark-skinned white people. They got tans. No,
yeah.
I'm protecting.
You know, I was noticing today how pasty fucking white I'm getting here in fucking South Dakota. Look how fucking white I am. Jesus,
it's wintertime, dude.
I miss New Mexico just because it gave me some color. Huh?
I don't think it would right now.
Right, yeah, no, not right now.
It's more white. Yeah, no,
white.
white. That's what happens to white people in winter. They get whiter.
They get pasty. No, not just white, like pasty fucking white. Like fucking. Yeah. Why do I look like I'm dying?
What did I want to talk about now? I wanted to talk about something. I can't now. I lost my train of thought here.
You give me fever.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. I'm definitely delirious here. I'm just killing time now. We got to say goodbye to Govs in like 7-8 minutes or so. And I did remember to log into PBM TV today. The Chappelle thing was interesting. I got to review of what we talked about yesterday with Bailey Pope, but I know the Chappelle thing came up. It's interesting because have you seen the new special?
No.
Chappelle's new special. He got a new special on Netflix. And I'm just wondering if it's more of the same. He seems to be a guy whose specials are all about kind of like what the show is about, the hate mail he gets or the response. He's just replying to people who are critical of him from the last special. And it's just like a regurgitation of who's mad at me now. But it doesn't seem like he's really putting any effort into being a comedian. And I think this is a kind of a trend when you get to that level now. Is the one person I say, and this will get me in some hate mail, is Louis C.K. doesn't seem to fall into that trap. I think Louis C.K. is the gold standard for that level of comedian right now because he is actually still trying to be funny. Everything he does, it's for maximum laughter and not TED talking, not like lecturing the audience or condescending. This is how you should see the world and all that kind of stuff.
But I think that's what kind of happens to comedians as they go along. You know what I mean? Like, and it makes sense. It makes total sense when you think about it because you spend all these years developing that first hour, maybe that first 2 hours. But after that, like after those first couple specials, everything you're writing is newer, you know what I mean? And it's much more, it has to come out faster now because now, and I'm talking about people that are known, but because once you're known, now how fast you come out with it needs to be better. And I think generally, you're trying to create material that's going to resonate with the people, and there's a couple kind of quick ways to do that. One is to be topical, and then the other is to talk about how people are treating you because your fans are generally in the know of like what has been going on with you, what kind of pushback you've had or whatever. You know, at least I don't know. I feel like, you know, we use George Carlin as a good example of that from time to time. And I think but we don't have a lot of examples of it because there's not a lot of comedians that continue to put out later on. In my opinion, they go on to do different shit.
Right. The one I wanted to bring up about CK was, and this might be, I don't know, controversial, not really, but I think what happened to him or what he did and the blowback from it ended up being a gift, because I think it did give him, it kept him humble, not so much humble. I think he's got an ego, but in terms of his art, humble, and realizing he's a comedian, just a comedian, and not to get on the TED Talk thing. I think it kept him from being a TED Talk guy. And I think also the other part of this is, when you talk about cancel culture, he's gotten to the point where he can just say whatever the fuck he wants without being concerned about cancel culture. That they can't cancel me. My fans will come with me no matter what I do, no matter what I say, and buy from me directly, you know, the pipeline of money. And so I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And I think it was freeing in a lot of ways. I would love to be able to talk to him about that, because nobody's really addressed that with him. That could this whole thing have actually been a gift to you and really benefited you both as a person and business wise? This whole, you know, the whole jerking off in front of women thing.
Right.
I don't know. I think it did. I think it definitely kept him on the idea of trying to be funny rather than just trying to be a TED Talker guy and teach people how to think about the world. Kelly says Chappelle didn't have to do another one. I thought he was done doing specials. Yeah, that's true. He did say the last one was his last one, right? I don't know. I don't know why he felt like he had to do another one.
Yeah, but how many? I mean, dude, I've heard the last one from so many artists that continue, you know, and not just comedians, but look at music artists.
They generally take some time, you know, considerable time off
yeah.
before. Yeah, a big comeback thing.
Right.
Like Kiss had their last concert several months ago, and I don't expect them to do another one at least for a couple of years. I'm dying here. You guys talk and say stuff so I can just sit here and delirium out.
Okay. Stuff.
Yeah. I like to stuff my stuff and stuff.
Right.
Usually on Thursdays. I think Thursdays is the best day to stuff things. But I could do some stuffing today.
GD, do you own an acoustic guitar?
Yes, I own two. Well, I guess you can call it. Yeah, one steel string and one classical.
But when you're up on stage, you with a solo electric guitar and an amplifier. When you're doing music,
my song parodies.
Yeah. You don't like to use an acoustic for that? It just seems it's more common, definitely more common for people doing comedy to be up there with an acoustic guitar. I never really saw anybody bring an electric and an amp on stage to do something like that.
Okay.
No, I'm asking.
I started off with my acoustic. When I first just started doing song parodies, it was with my acoustic, and I realized that my electric guitar stayed tuned better.
Wow.
And so I just said, okay, I'm just going to go with the electric because I don't feel like dealing with
sure.
Yeah, I don't feel like I want to tune it, set it down, and then pick it up and start playing again. Even though the electric one went out of tune once, but that was really my fault. I laid it next to a heater after I tuned it, and the heater just made the string stretch. And so I had to.
Are you okay?
Who are you talking to?
Yeah, this is the same story you told earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
You did. Right.
But I was asked, so.
Yeah. Why are you telling the same story again? Are you Joe Biden? What's wrong with you?
Well,
no, if I was Biden,
that wasn't weird to you. I thought it was weird. I felt weird. Like, wait a minute, you're telling the exact same story you just told a while ago.
First of all, I've told this story so many times I can't remember the last time I told it. And the second thing is, I was just answering a question. I didn't even think about the fact that 20 minutes ago I just talked.
You said the same thing,
right? I didn't even.
Right.
But
All right.
And if you ask me the question again in 20 minutes, I will tell you the same.
You
thing
probably
the same
would
way.
give the exact
Yes.
same answer again.
Because it's the
Yeah.
truth, you know, and I don't bury the
No, yeah,
truth.
no, I get it. I get it. I'm sorry.
just a
Bob my
comment,
head.
and then further questioning on this, and further interrogation on this. We've got to think about it, Govs, right now. Bye, Govs.
Goodbye, Gubs.